Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Division Two semifinals of the Collegiate Chess League. This is Duke versus University of Illinois. I'm joined by our amazing special guest, Grandmaster Ray Robson. You want to introduce yourself?
Hi, Joe, and hi, everyone. No, I think you already introduced me. I'm just GM. I live in St. Louis, and I'm yeah, happy to be commentating these games with you.
Well, the pleasure is all mine. I see one of the games has started, Shaq Masteo versus the Penn Variation.
Mhm.
So Shaq Masteo is actually Illinois' captain, as well as their top board. So they're playing against the bottom board of Duke. Um,
Okay.
what do you think about Shock Musteo's flair?
The the face, the mad face.
Yeah, that's like their game day face. Like they got
Mhm.
war paint on, you know?
Yeah, I
Would you
approve.
be intimidated by your opponent if they had that flair?
No, I don't think I'd be
No?
intimidated, but I would enjoy it. Yeah.
So okay, I know you went to college, right, Ray? You were at Webster.
I did, yes.
So Webster, they aren't playing, but I'm sure if they played, they would have a very strong team.
Hmm.
Um, I'm pretty sure they would make Division One. Uh,
Okay.
do you think like when you were a student, is this something that would have interested you, or do you think that you were probably too busy with like schoolwork or playing other chess matches?
Possibly. I guess at the time there just weren't any events like this. There was just like the Pan Am, and then if you qualified, then you could play Final Four. Like those were like the only two collegiate events that we knew of at the time. Um, but yeah, I mean it seems like a great event. I wish there had been other other events like this when I was in college, but I don't think there were as many opportunities then.
So now you're gonna have to go back to grad school, right?
Well, no, that's still
No.
not enough to make me go
Oh,
back to
okay,
school.
okay. So it's not that cool enough.
No, no, unfortunately, not
Okay,
not quite there.
but maybe one day it'll be so fun and exciting that you're gonna be like, you know what? I'm just gonna go back to grad school.
Uh-huh.
um, I saw maybe it was one of your classmates, Ilya Nizhnik. Did you go to class with him, or did you have school with him?
Yeah, yeah.
So I saw he was streaming on Chessweeb's channel, and
Hmm.
I told him about the Collegiate Chess League, and he said that he couldn't play because he had already been playing collegiate chess for like 8 years or something. Um,
Yeah, that's uh that's kind of true, yeah.
it's a long time, but I told him, he hasn't played in the Collegiate Chess League yet. So if he joined, I would definitely let him play. So I don't know, maybe he could just be a student forever and just keep
Mm,
playing for Webster. I think that's a good idea.
yeah, just stay for 20 years and keep playing the Collegiate Chess League every year.
Exactly. I think it's worth it. But so yeah, do any of the games stand out to you? I've been just kind of talking, but we should maybe focus on some of the chess commentary.
Well, in that first game that we had, the pin variation versus Shock Masteo, um, well, the pin variation was in a pin for quite a while, just got out of the pin by castling. Um, but yeah, this game seems like it's going decently for black. Uh,
Yeah, Black
I think
just
they were
took on
actually playing
e5.
theory.
Is this still
Sorry?
theory?
They were playing theory. I don't actually play this line really for either side, but I don't think I feel like bishop takes e4 maybe was not correct. I feel like bishop f4 is maybe still theory there. Um, but yeah, in the game, white took a pawn, but then after queen a5, there was a double attack on c3 and e5. So white just castled, and then black took back on e5, and now white went knight e2. But yeah, black should be at least okay here with yeah, with two bishops and no weaknesses.
Yeah, I was thinking like instead of queen takes e5, I wonder if bishop takes c3 would have been better. But I guess just trying to maintain the bishop pair.
Yeah, bishop c3 was also possible. Take and then you could take on c3 there if you wanted again, or you could just take back on e5. That was playable, but I guess queen takes e5. He just, yeah, he wanted to keep his bishops like you said.
Yeah, keep the bishops and get the queens off. Um, but pin variation, they have the 3-on-2 pawn majority on the outside. Maybe like b4 to follow this up. Maybe get the bishop on the long
Could play
diagonal.
b4. I think that they're probably going to be worried that their pawns might be a little bit vulnerable. Like black could play a5 and then put pressure on b4 and also try to open up the uh the a file. And
Uh-huh.
also when black moves the bishop, like bishop b7, rook c8, then the c pawn will be a little bit vulnerable. Maybe it's a little safer to put the pawn on b3 in some cases. I don't know.
Okay. So now white's just defending the knight on e4. Um, let's see. Do you see all 4 games? Oh,
I see 4 games, although one of them
I
seems to
totally
have
messed
been
that up.
aborted. At least
Yeah, let me
I don't
let
know if
me
it's the
double
same for
check
you.
that. Okay, no, I see it now. I just refreshed. The Sauron versus Tagama.
Okay, still don't see it, but I can just follow one of them.
Yeah, if you follow one of them, it'll pop up.
So the game which looked most exciting, yeah, I got it now, by the way. I think was the game between Sang Dao number 2 versus Double Attack.
Yeah, so actually both these players are 2300. Sang Dao number 2 is actually his name is Vincent Do. But what's interesting is I think like on the Northwestern team, there's a player named Sang Dao.
Okay. Confusing.
So when I was like looking up the players' names, I searched for Sangdao number 2 and I found the actual Sangdao. So I don't know if they know each other or they're friends or something.
Well, this is number 2, so the other guy's number 1, Sang Dao, and then this is just his clone, I guess.
Yeah. Well, his name's Vincent Do, so I don't know. They're definitely different people, but I think
Definitely.
Northwestern is they're eliminated from the playoffs, but they're both in Illinois, so maybe they know each other somehow.
I would assume that they do, yeah,
Because they're both from Illinois, right? So,
but also their names.
oh yeah, that too, for sure. But yeah, so what makes this game interesting besides like their rating is so close?
Oh, it's just looks very sharp. I mean, it's opposite. It's a Carol Khan, but this is one of the more sharp lines, I guess. Both sides are castling on opposite flanks, and then White's immediately started an attack with g4. Actually, before Black is even castled, because he knows that Black's going to castle kingside anyway. And yeah, Black felt like he needed to take it, which probably he did. But now it's going to be very dangerous with the open G file, and it feels like Black was a little bit slow. I don't know if Queen B6 and Rook D8 was necessarily the best plan there. It just feels like White's attack is faster than it usually is.
Yeah, I like
So
taking on c5 a lot.
in the
So,
current position,
yeah, just opening up this bishop's diagonal.
yeah, that's one of the issues. He put the bishop on c3 after c5, and then he's always going to have that pressure on g7 with the bishop, and then also with the open g file, he can put a rook on g1. So now I assume Black's going to play something like queen. Oh, I thought he would play something like queen c6, but I think that might just lose.
To taking
Because
twice on
if we take
f6.
on f6, whenever the g file opens, we just put our rook and queen on the g file, and it looks like queen g7 is unstoppable.
Yeah. So how does black get out of this?
The only idea I can think of is queen a6, just because white, needs to spend a move to do something with the queen. Otherwise, white would just take on f6 with the same idea. So yeah, maybe queen a6,
Yeah.
and which he
So they find it.
finds. And now,
So
well,
Duke
white
trade.
can probably white will just take on a6, and this endgame should be very good. I mean, black's pawn structures compromised after b takes a6, and white has a bunch of pawns on the queen side, which should be very strong. I mean, there's a c5 pawn, and then you can support it with b4. So I assume that should be very good for white. Probably he's looking for a way to just checkmate, because it looked like he was almost checkmating immediately. But I think, yeah, he just should go for the endgame.
Yeah, taking on f6 first with check. Bishop takes, and now trading queens here.
Yeah, still needs to trade
Yep.
queens.
Now
The
take.
question was
Yep.
how much he wanted to trade on f6, but I guess he decided that it was good just to trade everything, which, yeah, it should be good.
Makes
And you
sense. And
can just
now,
play
yeah, rook
b4
d7.
and
Or
bring
yeah,
the king.
b4. So I see two results. Sauron won, which is unfortunate for Middle Earth, but good for Illinois. Quill Logic also winning for Illinois. So they're at a 2-0 lead. I see pen variations down to the last 5 seconds. Do you want to see this
Okay,
game real
yeah, I
quick?
see. Oh, there was a tactic there. I think knight takes c7, counterattacking the rook on b5
That's
was
true.
important. But yeah,
Yeah.
now with playing on the increment and down in exchange still, I think black is gonna win this one.
Yeah, so Shock Masteo, the top board for Illinois, and that's going to give them 3 points in the first round. But looks like White's trying to promote this pawn. You think they should
I
have
think
high
after
hopes?
rook e5, there's no hope. Even if
Rook c3
Yeah, even if we exchanged everything on
trading down.
e3 and
Yeah,
then at some point we had to give up our rook for the that pawn,
it would
the
still
four
be, yeah,
pawns should beat the knight actually.
true. So Shock Masteo giving Illinois a 3-0 lead. We've got 1 game left in round 1. Sing down number 2 against Double Attack 2. So both players have the number 2 in their name,
Yeah.
but they're not board 2. This is
What?
board 1
Oh
versus
yeah.
board 4.
Mhm.
So
But it looks like it should still be winning for white. White has 2 passed pawns and black. Well, as of now, black still doesn't have any. I mean, black needs to play f5, e4. Black needs to exchange 1 pawn for white's f pawn to create a pass pawn,
yeah,
but there's just not enough time.
and their fourth pawn is doubled as well. So I guess looks like Illinois is gonna have a sweep on the first round against Duke's A team.
Is that an upset?
Well, normally, yeah, you wouldn't see a sweep. I think it's typically like the top 2 boards from both teams will win, because in the first round the top 2 boards play against the bottom 2 boards. So I mean, when Illinois has a national master on board 4, that's a pretty well-rounded team, for sure. So Duke's gonna need something to come back in this match.
Yeah, and looks like he's not gonna come back in this game though.
Yeah, they're gonna have
He's
to come back later.
yeah,
um,
just c7 and rook b8, and one of the pawns will queen.
exactly. Or maybe both pawns will queen if black takes the rook.
No,
Oh,
yeah, I
look
didn't
at
think
that.
of
There's
that.
a pass pawn on f3 though. Oh,
Yeah, that f5 pawn needed to be on a different file, I
all right.
guess.
So now rook b8. There it
Mm-hmm.
is. Queen. All right. Where's the fastest
Checkmate.
mate?
Oh, there was a mate in 1.
Oh,
It's getting close. The king's still running away, but
rook check, pawn block. No, just move. Okay. Queen takes with check.
all right, I think he's got it now.
Yeah. Ah, there it is. All right, so staying down number two, taking down the top board. So this is looking pretty rough for the Duke team. But yeah, in Division Two, all the teams that made it to semifinals are guaranteed at least $500 in prizes.
Mhm.
Because they're guaranteed fourth place. But if they win today and they move on to the finals tomorrow, they're guaranteed $1,250. Uh,
Okay.
with a chance of $2,500 if they win first place.
So there's
So
a lot to play for.
yeah, a lot of schools are probably not really receiving much funding for their chess clubs. So a lot of this money, I've asked a couple of the players so far what they would spend it on. A lot of schools are going to buy new sets, new clocks, and some of the more competitive teams will be using it to fund their trip to Pan Am's coming up in January,
Hmm.
which
Yeah, that's
I'll
very
also
exciting.
be streaming that match here on this channel. But I
The Pan
believe,
Ams?
yeah, you've played in Pan Am's, right?
I I played in a lot of them. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like every year, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, where are they gonna be this year?
So this year it's gonna happen in DC, in Washington.
Okay. Was never in. I never played in DC for the Pan Ams
What was
before.
the most exciting place you've played in the Pan Ams?
Well, I have to remember where they were.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like they were in Texas. I just feel like some of them were in Texas. I don't remember any like super exciting. The thing is, it's like 6 games, and it was always very intense. For us at least, like our goal was always to get like clear first, and that was like anything below that would be like a complete disaster. So I didn't really pay that much attention to the locations. I was just trying to do my best in the tournament.
So did you guys ever not get first place?
We did. The thing is that Webster was pretty deep, so we had like more. Like, each team is usually 4 players, but we had more than 4 GMs. So our we had a second, like a B team and even a C team, which were still pretty strong. So sometimes our A team didn't get first, or maybe weren't even qualifying for the final four, but there was always another team that at least at least qualified for final four. I don't know. I don't think they always got like clear first or first on tie breaks, but um they were always at least qualifying.
So in Pan Am's, I believe you only play against the other board, right? The same. So you only play
Yep.
one game per match. How do you feel
Yep.
about this like 4v4 format? Like, do you think that's kind of cool that you play everyone?
Uh, well, since it's faster time controls, I think it makes sense. Um,
Exactly.
yeah, if you it would take a little bit too long
If it was
if you did that
classical.
in a classical game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
But yeah, obviously for Blitz it makes perfect sense. And yeah, I've seen this sort of format in other things, maybe in like in the Pro Chess League and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think they've done something similar before.
So we have a
Um,
question from Diamond Cutter One,
mhm.
asking if Rosen was on the B team for Webster.
So I played, yeah, I was on the team with him, I guess 1 or 2 years. That's the thing, the teams were so strong. I don't think he actually would have made the B team. He probably was on the C team, which was also a strong team usually. But yeah, the B team was usually still 4 GMs. Um,
So you guys had eight
so
GMs at least.
sorry.
You had eight GMs at
Yeah,
least.
yeah, at the time. I don't know how it is now, but yeah, back then.
That is pretty good. I'm looking at Sauron versus double attack, and looks like this bishop b4 move is pretty strong. I guess the threat is to take on e2.
Yeah, that is just creating a pin. One threat is to take on E2, as you said. The other threat, which is even slightly stronger, I guess, is 94 check.
94 exactly. So
So to deal with both of those, it looks like white has to move the king out of the pin.
Would you call bishop b4 a double attack?
Mm, I I guess I can see how it's a double. It's threatening two things at once, but I wouldn't think of it as a double attack.
Oh, so we have bishop to e5, and now, like you said, knight e4 check is looking pretty good.
Yeah, and now oh now there's bishop a3 check, and where does the king go? If you
Um,
go over to b1, I think you're setting up a self-mate with knight d2.
exactly. So you have to go to d1, and then you get
But
forked on f2.
exactly, yeah. So
So
that's a
is
very
Sauron
good
gonna
option
see
here.
this?
But there's other moves. I mean, even something like f6, uh, there's other moves which are still very good for black. So I think he will find one of them.
I see Aroga in the chat, one of our mods, and uh, one of the hard workers that is very important to the league operating, saying that he actually played against Rosen in the 2016 Pan Ams, saying that he thinks that he was on the C team. So
Okay, yeah, that's what I suspected. But I think at least one of those years, this like the C team did super well. Like there might have been one of the other teams which finished ahead of them, possibly, but I think like if there hadn't been, they would have been the team that qualified for Final Four. So even the C team was very, very good.
is the Final Four held in a different location and time than the actual Pan Am tournament?
Uh yeah, well it's always held at a different time. I guess theoretically it could be held in the same location, although it never was when I played. So
Hmm.
so the Pan Am was always at the end of the year, I guess in December. And then the Final Four was always the next year, I think in the spring. I don't remember the month, let's say maybe March, around then.
Okay.
And it was always in New York. So the Pan Am would always be in, like, it could be in any location, I guess.
Yeah.
But the Final Four was always in New York. And it was mostly held, I think, at first at the New York Athletic Club. That was the location. And then
Oh,
there are also some that were in, I believe, the Marshall Chess Club.
okay. So, do you think it was appropriate to have it in the athletic club because these are college athletes competing?
Yeah, it felt totally cool for us. Yeah, I think it made sense. I'm sure none of the players minded at all.
I'm hearing some draw offers. Oh, we have pin
I see a
variation.
draw, yeah.
So that is the first half point for Duke, but they're on the board. So they're not getting swept. And that is their fourth board against the board two.
Hmm.
So potentially the start of a comeback for this Duke team.
Yeah, potentially. It's always good to get on the scoreboard.
Exactly.
Uh,
I agree with that, Ray.
mm,
But I see double attack. I mean, their position looked so terrible. But now it looks like they're getting this B pawn, and I don't know. They're only down in exchange, right? So
yeah, the one thing they had going for them is that white has this passed B pawn on that's on B6 now. And yeah, if they could survive and keep the pawn, they would still have chances because it is a strong pawn, and then white has like good support for the pawn, and also the knight can come to D6 and move the bishop out of the way. So even though black's up material here, yeah, I think you're right that white definitely still has chances. And I think black should have had something better than this. But right now the position is pretty unclear, I think.
I'm hearing some more draw offers. Voiceless Feather declined a draw against Shock Masteo. So it looks like the top board from Illinois is in some trouble, although their
Hmm.
opponent is under a minute on the clock. Do you like the bishop pair over the rook pair?
I don't. I mean, I wouldn't take the bishop pair, but there is some danger. So white has one of white's ideas is rook d7, of course. But another idea, just slightly more hidden, is c5, and then you're preparing to play the bishop to c4 with check. And if it were played right now, it would also then threaten to take on d1. So black needs to be aware of that and should try to exchange the rook off the board. So something like bishop e4, and then if bishop takes e4, rook takes d4, or bishop anywhere, just take on d4. And once you get the rooks off the board, you don't have to worry about your king anymore, and you're just up in exchange. Um,
Hmm.
so he could still do that here.
Yeah, so that
Let's see if he.
c5 move was an opportunity and that was missed, but maybe white plays it now.
Yeah, it still makes sense now. I mean, you just open up your bishops and try to get really active with the rook.
How do you feel about this
But
bishop f1 move though?
yeah, he protected g2. Um, but I still think, I mean, he still can try c5 here. I just think at some point he needs to play c5 to get his bishop,
To c4.
his his light square bishop into the game. Otherwise, otherwise he shouldn't have enough counterplay.
But look at the clock. 12 seconds. How many moves in a row has c5 been on the table?
It's I'm still calling for it. He can still do it.
I think
No.
maybe if we say it together, Ray.
Well,
um,
I mean, it's still not easy for black, especially with the time, because the rook on h5, he did take the pawn on h2, but from white's perspective, at least, it's still okay because that rook is completely out of the game. Needs to try to play f4, I guess, at some moment to get his rook back in through the fourth rank there.
so
But
now
yeah,
b4 or
White's finally
there's
going
the
c5, and now the
c5.
bishop's threatening. Oh,
Now
and
the
he drops the rook.
oh, free rook. There it is. So voiceless feather probably devastated to,
Drops another rook, by the way. Bishop
oh,
d8.
bishop fork or skewer. No, that's beautiful. Yeah, resigned. So, shock Misteo, what do you think about that draw offer? Do you think that's psychological there from the top board offering that?
So, which side what declined the draw? I
The
assume black,
Duke,
right?
yeah, black
Yeah.
declined it.
Okay. Yeah, I guess. No, it was a decent offer because the thing is, when you decline a draw and you're up in exchange, you always feel like, you know, now I need to try to win, and you're gonna avoid things which are more drawish. But yeah, it can easily backfire. So in the game, I don't know if he did anything too crazy in the game after declining the draw. I think he was just low on time and he blundered there.
Yeah. So now Illinois, they're up 6.5 to 1.5. Illinois only needs 2 points in the remaining 2 rounds to clinch the win.
Mhm.
So that's gonna
Looking
be
very good for them.
really rough. Yeah.
So round three or game three is starting now, right?
Yeah, yeah. So this is round 3. Yeah, I see Sangdao number 2 versus Voiceless Feather.
Yeah,
Uh,
this is a exciting opening. It's a Najdorf and then same side castling, but it's still looking like it's going to be very sharp because White's played this advance with g4, indicating that he's either going to follow up with f4 or some sort of play on the king side, and he's going to try to attack Black's king on the same side where both their kings are. And so this should be a very exciting game.
so Sangdao actually lost their second round match to Jeff Du, who is now playing Illinois' top board, Shock Masteo, who's 2 for 2.
Mm-hmm.
This game, do you think we'll have opposite side castles? Or do you think Black will go queen side?
Uh, I think black will go. Well, I think black will go queenside. He did blunder a tactic. I think white had rook takes h7 after bishop g7.
Ah, with bishop takes g6.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they both missed that chance. So now black got to castle, and yeah, I mean, still white has pressure on the f file. You could double rooks, maybe rook h3, rook dh1. Um, so I still prefer white's position here because how are you defending the h7 pawn if I just double rooks there?
You'd push it, and then lose the g6 pawn.
Yeah, that's
Or Ray, hear me out. Bishop g8.
yeah, bishop g8 is also an idea, but then you're not protecting the h8 rook, so I can still take on g6 and I
Oh,
win a pawn.
darn.
Um, so the one thing he could have done, which would protect everything, was knight f8, but it just doesn't look great to have all those pieces, you know, clumped together near the back row. So instead he's gone for g5 and h6, so he's made sure he's not losing any material.
But his bishop on
Um,
g7.
but yeah, he's by putting all his pawns on dark squares, he's weakened the light squares a lot. So now I think the logical plan for white is to bring his c3 knight, which isn't really doing too much. Like the c6 pawn for black is kind of controlling it, also the d5 pawn. They should bring it over to the king side, bring it to g3 with knight e2, knight g3, and then the knight has access to f5 or h5, and you can see um, all the weaknesses
Man,
in the light scores in
it
black's
looks like they're
position.
doing exactly just that with knight e2. And it's a very logical move, very logical plan. I think you hit the nail on the head on that one. And yeah, what happens after knight f5? Like,
After knight f5, I mean, basically, black's gonna lose. Like, black can't avoid losing material in the long run. Maybe even in the short run. I mean, when the knight comes to f5, you're hitting g7 and h6, and there's so
yeah,
much pressure on h6. So I think you're at least gonna lose the h pawn. So you probably try to just lose it in the least hurtful way possible. I think that's the best um, plan of action right now for black. I don't think you can do much else. You could try to, create counterplay somehow somewhere else,
like c5.
but I just don't see it happening at c5, but then even d5 is hanging. Um,
True.
I I was trying to think maybe there's some idea to play like f5, just give up the f pawn before white occupies it with the knight. And then let's say bishop takes f5, your knight is pinned, so you play king b8. And then at least you've opened the g7 bishop. Your knight has a square on f6. White's knight isn't dominating you on f5 so quickly. So you still lost a pawn, but it was, a sacrifice to
That's
improve your chances.
that's that least painful way you were talking about. And now
Yeah.
now it's probably too late because now the knight's already on g3.
Yeah, now it should be probably too late for that. So he's gone here, but I think he's losing
So
even
knight,
more material this way. So knight
so knight
f5,
f5.
hitting the queen and bishop.
Oh,
And
because there's no queen
yeah,
f7
exactly.
because of knight d6 family fork. Have you heard the term fork city?
I'm sure someone has said it, but I didn't know it was an actual term.
or an actual place?
Oh yeah, that too. But
Okay, Shaq Masteo just wins by resignation. So Jeff Dew goes down. That was a
mhm.
very, very flawless victory from White, I think. Although you did say they missed the tactic on h7 early.
Yeah, there was a
But
tactic, but overall the the plans, everything that they did, they were all very sound and well executed. So that was a good game by Jacques Masteo.
so now Duke has to win every single game for the rest of the match to win. We've
We'll
seen
never give up
crazier
hope.
things happen, Ray. You never maybe Duke probably has Illinois exactly where they want them. Like they probably planned for this, right? This is part of the game prep.
Mhm. Could be. Yeah, they're un you know, underdogs, and then you have to come up with some sort of strategy. So I guess they're just sacrificing the first 2.5 rounds, and then they're gonna win the rest.
Exactly. So speaking of, winning the rest, I see Voiceless Feathers looking good against Sangdao number two.
Yeah, I was looking at the game also. It does look good. I mean, it is good. The pass protected pass pawn on e6 is very strong. Yeah, right now, Black's last move was knight b8 to d7. It looked like that knight couldn't actually get out, but it can apparently because of the pin on the e file. So yeah, probably White was thinking about whether or not to take on d7, um, which maybe was possible. Instead, he went for queen d4. Now the knight moved and rook h1. But this should still be, I don't know. I assume White's still better, but actually I think Black's getting some counterplay. Yeah, with rook c8 hitting c2, and now
And
probably have to
C4.
defend h7.
Okay, yeah.
But next move, he has ideas like rook c4, which could be a little bit annoying for White.
Maybe B3.
You could play b3. B3 would be a reasonable move. Um, but he might be too focused on attacking on the king side.
So like, what about Bishop D4?
Yeah, bishop d4 is another move that makes sense, and then probably bishop g7.
Uh-huh.
But I do like b3 in general, just to make sure that black doesn't have this idea of pinning us with rook c4. Um, yeah, so maybe b3 here, like you said. What I thought maybe he should have done is on move 20 after knight d7. Maybe he should have. I was thinking maybe he should put his bishop on d4 immediately there, because he probably wants it there anyway, like he did in the game. I think that might have saved some time for him.
Yeah, and that actually prevents the knight from advancing because you just take the knight, and then after the pawn retakes, now you have two connected pass pawns.
Yeah, that was one of the ideas. So in the game, yeah, in the game, I think Black is making lots of improvements. Now, White doesn't really seem to have an attack on the king at all, and then Black is activating his pieces. Okay, rook f1, probably a good move.
Yeah, so that
Exchange
knight
rook.
D7 move turned out to be pretty strong for the National Master. Yeah, like the knight on B8 had nothing, but that hanging bishop on E3 allowed for the knight to develop, and now that attack has kind of dwindled.
Yeah, the good news for White is even in the endgame, the e6 pawn is still a strong asset. So he needs to find a way to either start pushing that pawn, or possibly he could try to break up Black's pawns a little bit on the queen side first. For example, try to organize something with b3, a4, or c4. Because if you could get your c pawn basically up to c4 and then c5, you could undermine Black's e5 knight, and then your d and e pawns will start rolling once Black doesn't have the d6 pawn. Um, but his plan is also logical. He's first bringing his knight into the back into the game. He's probably going to bring it to e4, which is a very good square, and still looks like Black's in big trouble here.
I see pin variations down to 8 seconds. So any win for Illinois at this point is a win for them. Sarin is flawless so far, 2 for 2, looking to go 3 for 3.
Hmm.
2 seconds.
Yeah, and this is a rook endgame, which should be a draw, but
The
with
time
low
pressure.
time,
Yeah.
I think it's probably Sauron is going to
Oh.
end up winning this.
Double attack. The top board from Duke got a win. So the comeback dreams are still alive. Right, Ray?
It's still alive, yeah.
um
I don't know how the pin variation is gonna win this one, but
Just wait, you'll see. All part of the plan. I mean, probably there's like a ring involved and like a giant lava pit. You've seen the movies, right?
Mhm. I think he's doing a good job defending, though. I mean, uh, he's holding it well so far, and now he can bring the rook to g3 and attack the g6 pawn. So I think he's gonna make a draw.
Do you want to look at
Um,
the other game?
sure, yeah. The other game, oh yeah, Voiceless Feather, I think was completely winning. Still's probably winning, but some hope still. But this should still be winning for white.
Queen
Yeah, Queen
f7 check.
f7.
Yeah, that's GG. All right, so Voiceless Feather with the win. Keeping the hopes and dreams alive. Now it's all down to pin variation.
Yeah.
Listen, they can afford a draw. A draw, they just need a sweep in the fourth round, and then they go to overtime.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Yeah, so the
So yeah,
draw is
pin variation
fine.
just needs to draw.
Exactly. You don't need a win. Was trading rooks a draw still or no?
No. If you traded rooks,
You
the
lose.
problem was, well, the black king will get to f4 or f3, and then no matter what, white can't prevent black's king from getting to g4 and then just taking the pawn.
Could black have taken on h4 and go up the g pawn, or is that still a draw?
Um, Depends on the position. In general, it would just be a draw unless you could exchange rooks in the right scenario. But here he's just won the pawn.
Yeah, he just lost h4 and now he's down two whole pawns, and that should be the match right there. I don't see if white can hold on to this now.
Yeah, basically I moved 60. White missed the move rook g5 check, and then he would have done that exchange that you mentioned, the h pawn for the g pawn. And that would have drawn the game. Instead, his king got cut off, and then his h pawn was vulnerable. So
So yeah, I guess Illinois is gonna win this match. They're gonna be guaranteed $1,250. Duke's gonna be playing the loser between UCLA and UC San Diego, which we will see uh in I guess the next hour and 15 minutes. So Sauron still 3 for 3.
Sauron's too strong.
I know.
So they still play the fourth game, right?
Yeah, they still play the fourth round.
Okay.
Not 250 token. The Illinois just guaranteed themselves 1250, and you can actually see the prize breakdown. I see Florian is watching all the other lower division matches, so we're mostly focusing on the higher divisions. So we were watching both Division 2 and both Division 1 matches, but we have 10 divisions total. A lot of games are being played concurrently. But after the last D1 match, there is a Division 10 match that we can watch between Akron and Howard. What do you think about the level of play so far, Ray? Are you excited to watch Division 1?
Uh, yeah, I I'm definitely excited. I'm not that sure what to expect, but it seemed like there were a lot of strong players playing, so
Yeah,
I'm sure the level will be pretty high. Um, yeah. Also, the last round, even though it ended the comeback hopes, kind of, it was still like by far the best round, I think,
true.
for
For Duke.
yeah.
They got like 2 points, right, or something? I think.
I
I think
think,
it was
yeah,
tied two
I'm
two.
not sure if they won the round or tied, but yeah, I'm pretty sure they didn't lose the round.
Free time streaming. Thank you for the follow. Welcome. Also, if you guys want to check out Ray, he streams as well. When he's required to. I think your last stream
Description.
was the Chess Played Quick with Nicholas Tice.
Mm.
I think that your mic was cut out on that stream. Uh, but that was strategic so that your opponents couldn't stream snipe you,
Exactly.
right? So Ray,
Exactly.
very, very smart streamer. Um, doesn't stream more than he has to. It's just when he needs to, I guess. But yeah, Ray, the world would love to have more Ray streams. Uh,
I'm not sure about that.
oh come on. That's why we made Twitch front page today. Are we on front page right now? Can someone double check that? Token
Um,
40K. Agreed. We are QWERTY? Cool. So QWERTY is one of the Duke players. Their D team lost to Georgia Tech's B team, and now their A team just lost to Illinois. So Duke, uh, it is impressive though. They've have multiple teams that have made it this far in the bracket, but they're gonna have to be fighting tomorrow for that third place prize money.
did you say they're D team?
Yeah, so Duke has a lot of teams. Their D team is playing in Division 6, and we watched that like 2 hours before you joined.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, t-
Is there an E team?
does Duke have an E team?
Because
Uh
I've heard of D teams, but I've never heard of an E team. So I'm just
so some
curious.
teams actually do have E teams. Like UCLA and USC have E teams in Division 10. I think Berkeley actually has an F team.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Um oh, USC's E team actually just won their semifinal match apparently. Duke says they do have an E team.
Okay,
So basically, you're allowed like as many teams as you want, such that you don't have multiple teams in the same division.
I see.
Yeah. So there was an exception this year for our Division 10 because we had no cash prizes. We allowed for University of uh, Wisconsin Milwaukee to have two teams in Division 10, but
That
they
makes
only
sense.
sent one to playoffs. So one of their teams was eliminated. We got a couple of USC fans in the chat. So Ray, tell me, who's your favorite to win Division 1?
Oh, so the match is coming up. I assume so. UC Berkeley and U Chicago are in Division One,
Yes.
and then Yale and Warsaw
Yes.
also. Are those like four of the highest
Those are the
teams?
four semifinalists.
Okay.
That's our final four for Division
Mhm.
1.
So let's see. I know some of these players. I've even probably played some of them, although I don't know all of them. So let me think. I mean, Chicago, I know a Wonder. A Wonder is super strong. Like with a Wonder on the team in this format, I feel like that's already automatic, like
Well, it's
three and a
interesting
half,
you say
4
that.
points.
So U Chicago to get to the semifinals actually beat Mizzou, who has four
Oh, wow.
grandmasters on their team. And a Wonder I think only got 1 point or something, like maybe 1.5 out of four.
Really?
And Praveen, their second board, their other grandmaster, they went 4 for 4.
Okay. Yeah, well, I was gonna say that Praveen also like both like together that should be very, very strong top two boards. The other two players, I don't know them, so I just don't know exactly how strong they are, but I think I would assume that they're favored over UC Berkeley.
Wow. So UC Berkeley actually played Chicago in the regular season and Berkeley won. Berkeley's actually undefeated.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I also only know like two of their players there. I don't know Roland or Ladia, so I just don't know how strong they are. So I'm
Well,
just comparing the players
yeah,
that I know.
based off what you know. That makes sense.
Mhm.
But I see here in this last match, this final round, Double Attack actually beat Shock Misteo, who was undefeated until then. Sauron is actually undefeated. They just won their fourth game. We have two games left, and then after this, we're gonna tune in and we're actually gonna watch UC Berkeley versus U Chicago, which is a very anticipated match. I'm really excited to see that one. I think those are definitely the two best teams out of the A group. So how we break up the teams into divisions, Ray? We have 16 teams per division. And of those 16, we split them into like East and West. So like Group A is the West and Group B is the East.
Hmm.
And then those groups of 8 will play in a round robin for the regular season. So they'll play 7 matches, and then based off those standings, we put them into a playoff bracket. So yeah, Berkeley and Chicago are the top two from A. Yale and Warsaw are the top two from B. Not all the divisions are set up like that for the playoff bracket because we just list them like 1 through 12. Um, and so sometimes you get like A versus B, but
Okay.
but yeah, Berkeley and Chicago, it's gonna be such a huge match. Both Berkeley and Chicago actually beat Mizzou in the regular season. But yeah, like Chicago, you said they have the two grandmasters. Berkeley doesn't have any grandmasters, but I think like all 4 of their players are at least 2600 blitz on chess.com.
I see.
So who knows? We'll see. Yeah. Um. So yeah, we got
Yeah,
like
I know Josiah Stearman. I know I'm sure he's very strong in especially in blitz. And I believe I actually played Ryan Tag Tagizadeh uh in Rapid once over the board.
oh really?
Yeah, there was like there's a national I actually didn't even know that this tournament existed, but there's like national game 30 and game 60 championships, I guess every year. So one year I played, the only year I played, it was like I think 2017. It was in California,
Oh.
and yeah, I played Ryan in yeah either the game 30 or the game 60 there.
So that was Ryan's home turf since he's at UC Berkeley. You were the away challenger. Did you beat him?
Uh, yeah, I ended up winning. I mean, it was not like an easy game or anything, but yeah, I did end up winning that game.
Nice. Oh, I see Swole 19's in the chat. He hit 975 followers last night. So you guys, he's doing a giveaway. Definitely check out his channel. I gave him a shout out. He's 25 away from the big 1K.
Mm.
Um, Ray, do you have anything nice to say about Swole 19?
I, I don't know, the way you phrased it sounds like I, I mean, there should be lots of nice things to say about him. It's not like there's just one thing.
Well, I mean,
Um,
what's the one nice thing that you would say to him if you knew he was listening right now?
well, I'll just say I mean, I'm pretty active, I guess, on Twitch, just, watching people. But Swole is one of the people who I do occasionally go into his stream and to see what he's doing.
That is high
So
praise.
yeah,
I'm
I guess.
sure Sammy's got to be blushing completely red
I'm
right
sure
now.
he is. There's no doubt.
Uh, okay, so yeah, this match should be wrapping up very soon. Quill Logic just beat Jeff, so they end at 2.5. Jeff only 1 out of 4 on the match. We got 1 game left. Pin variation down to 5 seconds.
He just played a very interesting move, knight d4.
Is that a free knight? No, the knight's pinned.
It's the pin variation.
Exactly, but the bishop is hanging on g7.
Yes. So that's what White needs to decide. Um, yeah, White needs to decide whether to take on g7, or I guess you could play rook c1 and just stack an exchange on c2, but uh he probably doesn't want to do that. So he might end up taking on g7, and then black could take with the knight on c2 or the bishop. I don't know which one he'll do. Okay, knight takes, probably king c1.
King c1 getting out of the discovery.
And now I guess queen e6 makes sense to attack a2. Okay,
Take,
he didn't
take.
find it. He's got, whoa, he played that move with 0.1 seconds left.
Wow, 2.1. I've seen some weird things with this
White doesn't have
internet.
time also. White needs
Yeah,
to
5
move.
seconds. 4, 3, 2. Oh,
Move. Okay.
2, 1, 0. Ah, so the pin variation goes down to Singdao. All right, so final score: Duke losing to Illinois 4.5 to 11.5, and we've got